I've been waiting for so long! I can't believe you're really here!
Hello and welcome to another recap. Leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Today I would like to talk about The Silver Guardian, an anime show that features a captivating storyline. Hoping that you guys will like the anime and stand by with us for more. The series commences by providing a glimpse into the future, where we are introduced to Rei Riku. She takes care of younger female students in her dorm, who chat about rumors circulating that there is a graveyard located beneath the academy. Afterward, Rei heads to her room and gazes at the night sky during the full moon, reminiscing about someone dear to her. She ponders whether he is doing okay. This person is none other than Sujin Riku, who resides in another dimension. Sujin stands alone atop a colossal temple as innumerable hordes of zombie-like creatures advance. As the protector of Earth, Sujin employs all his magical powers to prevent the horde of evil monsters from reaching Earth. We witness Sujin gathering his magic powers, and then he runs straight into the army of the undead. His mission is to fight them all at once. Subsequently, we are taken 1 year back in time. Sujin Riku is just a regular student attending the Shinryu Private Academy, which only accepts children from wealthy families. However, Sujin comes from a poor background and he works various jobs to pay his tuition. One of his gigs is being a lifeguard in a public swimming pool. One day, someone's pet cat starts drowning and Sujin, despite being unable to swim, dives into the pool to rescue it. He starts drowning, but fortunately, Rei Riku arrives and saves him. Later on, Sujin's friend tells him that Ri is the daughter of a renowned game designer. Sujin blushes when he remembers that while trying to give him oxygen, Ri actually kissed him. In the future, we see that Sujin is still fighting the zombies. He is not only doing this for humanity, but also so that one day he can be reunited with his love, Rie, which is the only thing that he cares about apart from being the guardian of the planet Earth. In the past, Rie remembers waking up as a child under a giant red tree, and the first face she saw was that of Sujin. They were both small children at the time, but they had an instant connection. Meanwhile, in the timeline where Sujin is just a normal student, he scares away 2 students when he arrives to clean the park. After finishing his work, Sujin logs onto his favorite game called Dungeon Century, where he plays as a strong knight who fights monsters. During one mission in the game, he teams up with another player, a girl who introduces herself as Ri after they successfully defeat a difficult boss. However, just as they are getting to know each other, a power outage shuts off the game, leaving Sujin furious that he didn't get a chance to meet her properly. Later on, while fixing the park light, Sujin happens to catch sight of Rei opening the windows to her dorm room. She was talking excitedly to her friends about a game she just played, and the two suddenly come face to face. Unfortunately, in his surprise, Sujin falls off the park lamp, embarrassing himself in front of Rei. The following day, Sujin is working another job when he overhears Rei talking to her friends about Dungeon Century. He realizes that she's the girl from the game, but he feels like he has no chance to be with her in real life. However, fate intervenes when he receives a request from her to play the game together. For the next several months, Sujin and Rie play the RPG daily, loving the time they spent together in the virtual world. But one night, Sumi receives terrible news. The game is about to be shut down forever, which complicates the whole situation between Sujin and Rie, as they had a great time playing the game all this time for real. Sujin is heartbroken as he realizes that his time playing Dungeon Century with Rei is coming to an end. He longs to meet her in real life, but his social status is a barrier. Later that day, Rei talks to her father, who informs her that Dungeon Century is shutting down, but his company is launching a new game that will change the world. It's called Gravebuster. Rei is sad, knowing that she will no longer be able to spend time with Sujin inside their game. As the countdown to the end of Dungeon Century ticks away, Sujin logs back in and meets up with Rei. He wants to make the most of their remaining time together, so they explore the virtual world, talk by the campfire, and have as much fun as possible. They swim in the lake, laugh, and go on many adventures. Meanwhile, Rei's father launches Gravebuster, which becomes an instant hit, selling out everywhere. People become obsessed with the game and spend countless hours immersed in its virtual world. But for Sujin and Rei, the launch of Gravebuster is bittersweet. While they are excited about the new game, they know that they will miss their old adventures in Dungeon Century. The day had finally arrived, the day when Dungeon Century was going to shut down. Sujin was feeling depressed, and all he wanted was to finish his work quickly so that he could log on and meet Rei for the final time. Meanwhile, Rei's father was alone in his office, planning the launch of Gravebuster, the new game that he had developed. Rei was waiting in the tavern inside Dungeon Century, hoping that Sujin would show up. She was sad that she wouldn't be able to spend time with him anymore, and the thought made her heart ache. Sujin, on the other hand, was on his way to meet Rei, but his bike glasses broke, forcing him to run. He was worried that he might be late for their final meeting. As the day progressed, a mysterious woman arrived at Rei's father's office. He recognized her as one of his company's workers, and she got a gun. She revealed that it was time for him to be replaced, as her boss had bigger plans for the game. Before he could react, she shot him in the head. Back inside the game, a giant monster appeared and started attacking players and NPCs. Rie was desperately searching for a special flower that she needed, but the monster attacked her. Sujin finally managed to log in and found Rie injured. The two of them found the flower they were looking for, and as they held it, it began to glow. Suddenly, the giant monster attacked Rie, killing her instantly. The game was deactivated and Sujin was left alone in the darkness. The following morning, Sujin and his cat made their way to school. As he walked, he saw Rie waiting for him. She revealed that she knew he was the one who played with her in the game all along. She told him about the new game that had just been released and asked if they could play together. Sujin was overjoyed and agreed, feeling a renewed sense of hope. He was excited to start playing with Rie again and felt like he had a new purpose in life. As they walked to class together, Sujin and Rie couldn't help but smile, knowing that they would always be connected, both inside and outside of the game. The news of Rie's father's death leaves her devastated and unable to focus on school. Sujin, concerned about her well-being, tries to reach out to her but receives no response. Days go by, and just as he begins to think that he may never see her again, he receives a mysterious message from Rie, asking him to meet her. When Sujin arrives at Rie's house, she hands him a small, sleek console. It is the same one that her father had wanted Sujin to have. Rie tells him that it has been genetically locked to his DNA, which means that only he can use it. As Sujin unlocks the console, a voice emanates from it, revealing a shocking truth. Rie is not the biological daughter of her late father. Instead, Sujin is his grandson, which is quite shocking considering Sujin didn't expect to hear anything like that before reaching Rie's house, as his whole future changes in front of him instantly. The voice on the console instructs Sujin that he must protect Rie by any means necessary and that they will have enough money to live a happy life. Suddenly, Sujin notices some suspicious-looking security guards approaching Rie's house. The voice on the console warns him that they are from her father's company and are there to take her away. Without hesitation, Sujin jumps into action to protect Rie. He confronts the security guards and tries to reason with them, but they refuse to listen. In the aftermath of Rie's father's murder, Sujin finds himself battered and bruised after a failed attempt to save Rie from being taken by the security guards. He discovers that the guards were acting on orders from their leaders, who are in the employ of a notorious villain known as Tiger. To make matters worse, Sujin learns that all the money his grandfather left him is locked inside a game. Determined to save Rie and get his hands on his inheritance, Sujin takes off on his bike to chase after the security guards who have taken Rie. However, his pursuit is cut short when the guards use their car to run him off the road. As Sujin lies injured on the ground, a mysterious figure named Silicon suddenly appears inside the guard's car and takes Rie with him. Desperate to save Rie, Sujin finally catches up with the car and Rie. There was also Silicon, who revealed to him that he needs to enter the game world of Grave Buster to unlock his inheritance. Back at his house, Sujin is introduced to Twin Star, a green-haired woman who seems to have been summoned to help him. With Twin Star's help, Sujin is transported into the world of Grave Buster. As soon as Sujin arrives in the game world, he finds himself in a vast desert, where a massive monster rises up from the ground while he continues to wander around and look for an explanation. Sujin is on a mission to rescue Rie from a monstrous creature that is guarding her. However, he faces a challenge as several assassins arrive in the game to defeat him and prevent him from proving his worthiness as a Tomb Guardian. This is the ultimate test that he must pass. Fortunately, the goddess of the desert, Shastia, arrives to help Sujin by unlocking his grandfather's memoirs. These memoirs reveal that the giant monster is actually Sujin's grandfather, who had saved his dad before his death. Sujin's grandfather will now guide him on his new journey. Meanwhile, Rie wakes up in her cell and is instructed by a mysterious girl to dress and prepare herself. Sujin and his grandfather face a fierce attack from the assassins, forcing them to flee to a giant robot, which they activate to fight off the assailants. Meanwhile, Rie is being taken care of by unknown people in an undisclosed location. Elsewhere, Rie wakes up inside her cell of a strange girl. The girl tells her to dress and get ready. After that, Rie reaches an unknown location where the people that are holding her captive continue to watch her while having fun with her. But it still continues to annoy her as she demands them not to disturb her by splashing water on her face and body. It is revealed that there are tomb raiders and tomb guardians who have been fighting over the goddess tomb for centuries. Sujin and Shastia attempt to pilot the giant robot to repel the assassins, who are revealed to be tomb raiders with a goal to access the goddess power. The long-range attacker damages the robot, prompting Sujin to blast him away with a giant gun. Sujin's grandfather contemplates the few remaining tomb guardians and their losing battle. In the meantime, Sujin and Shastia fire the giant gun to keep the attackers at bay. However, Fab Bai, one of the raiders, hypnotizes Shastia and summons giant insects to infiltrate the robot. As Sujin's grandfather's memory data depletes, he disappears. Sujin activates his guardian powers and confronts the Tomb Raiders outside the robot, shocking them with his skill and power. He defeats them with ease. After the battle, Shastia commends Sujin for his performance as a great Tomb Guardian before disappearing. However, a fiery woman with a gun confronts Sujin, revealing herself as the last guardian. Without any mercy, she shoots Sujin instantly as she continues to lose his sight, and everything goes black all of a sudden for him. After being shot, Sujin finds himself back in the real world. He is perplexed and tries to make sense of what just happened. Suddenly, he receives a mysterious phone call from a man named Temujin, who tells him to meet him inside the game. Along with the call, Temujin sends Sujin a picture of Ri, the girl who was previously held captive. As Sujin contemplates what to do, some of his friends log into the game. They too are soon attacked by the same group of Tomb Raiders who went after Sujin and his grandfather. The leader of this vicious gang goes by the name Wild Wolf, and he takes pleasure in targeting new players. Meanwhile, Temujin goes to see Ri, who demands to be released. However, he merely chuckles at her and leaves her alone once more. Sujin begins to learn more about the rules of the game so that he can become an even stronger Tomb Guardian. Unfortunately, Wild Wolf and his gang capture Sujin's innocent friends. They plan to take all of their credits and power while trapping them in the game. Out of nowhere, the same fiery woman who had mercilessly shot Sujin appears again. She introduces herself as the Collector and reveals that her sole mission is to eliminate Tomb Guardians who start to get in her way. As Wild Wolf and his cohorts launch their assault, they find themselves powerless against the Collector's might. But he quickly realizes that the power that Collector wields in her hands surely makes her one in a billion players, painting her as one of the strongest players of all time. He loses his hope almost instantly after the whole truth reveals crystal clear in front of him, and he ends up kneeling down to the ground in front of his enemy. With a flick of her wrist, she unleashes a burst of energy from her enchanted firearm, obliterating all of them with ease. After the intense battles, he is then visited by Twin Stars once more, who take him back into the game world to continue his quest as a Tomb Guardian. The mystery deepens as Sujin tries to uncover the true intentions of the Collector and the dangerous forces at play in the game world. Takeshi and Mikana are best friends who have been trying to make money playing video games for a long time. Living in a rundown town, they dream of escaping their situation. Mikana has been sick for a while, so Takeshi promises to earn enough money to find a cure and take her away to a better place. They both believe that they will leave someplace heaven-like where they will never face their usual life problems, hoping that everything will get better as they move places. In the game world, Takeshi meets up with Sujin when Sujin was looking to reach Lalong the matchmaker, who has also returned with Twin Stars. The two head to a special arena where players are battling each other. Twin Stars wonder why they have to watch the matches from above in the sky, but Sujin makes it clear that he just wants to pay the expensive matchmaking fee only to meet Lalong face-to-face because of his own cause of hiding the fact that he is a 1 billion player. Somehow, they both end up dropping into the match where the Ice User and the Viking Man was fighting. Even though they have illegally entered the match according to their rules, Lalong allows them to participate since it is quite oblivious for them to see. Takeshi apologizes to Sujin for getting him into trouble as he didn't ask to join the fight, but he continues to remember the memories he spent with Mikana, and he is targeting the prize money for her well-being. The screen shifts as Takeshi remembers the memories he spent with Mikana back in the day when she was well, and it reveals that Takeshi used to sneak photos of her every day, which makes him blush like hell as he is always with her. She called him her precious partner, which makes him tear up, and he still has the photo in his spellbook. Even when she got sick, she wanted him to escape alone for a better life and have a chance to have better facilities in the future. Takeshi has acquired a special spell book that he believes will give him an advantage in the tournament. He's not strong enough to win on his own, but with the book's help, he thinks he has a chance. Meanwhile, Ri is taken to a secret chamber, where Temujin and his allies acclimate her into their order. They give her a red console and tell her that she is now part of their group, which only gets more and more suspicious every time. Sujin and Takeshi start fighting against other players in the arena. However, as Takeshi uses the magic book, he discovers that it destroys his memories each time he casts a spell. He starts to lose his recollection of important things, including Mikana and his promise to her. During the intense fight against the formidable Viking warrior, Sujin confidently takes charge and tells his friend Takeshi to stay back as Sujin notices the memories disappear which were stored by Takeshi for his sister. But he wanted his sister to get better even if he had to sacrifice the memories for her sake, for the betterment of their future. With the help of Twin Stars, Sujin engages in a fierce battle with the Viking, determined to emerge victorious. Takeshi is worried for Sujin, but he knows that his friend is a skilled Tomb Guardian and trusts in his abilities. Everyone continues to think that Sugin must be some sort of newbie and keeps on having deep thoughts about him surviving the fight against his opponent as the commentators don't stop commenting about his bravery. However, the battle takes a turn for the worse when the Viking lands a powerful blow on Sujin, leaving him severely injured. Takeshi rushes to his friend's aid and saves Twin Stars from danger, causing her to transform into a giant dragon that overwhelms the Viking warrior while everyone calls her S-Class Grave Beast for her abilities and transformation quality as a dragon. The crowd cheers as the battle comes to an end when the Viking gets instantly frozen and broken like glass by the crystal breath of Twin Stars. Twin Stars couldn't help but wonder if Sujin was thinking carefully by leaving all 10 million prize money to Takeshi, but Takeshi claims that he will be fine since he is a 1 billion player, so he shouldn't be worrying over 10 million at all. With the tournament over, Sujin selflessly gives all of his reward money to Takeshi, urging him to take care of his sick friend. Sujin's determination to find Rie still burns within him, and he sets out on a new quest to locate her. As Sujin continues his search, the commentators of the tournament begin to question his connection to the Collector, the mysterious woman who shot him. Sujin remains focused on finding Rie, unaware of the growing suspicions around him. That is all for now. Remember to like and subscribe.